Oh, OMT, you're here?
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay.
You don't want to start the recording yet?
Oh, I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I was calling earlier because I
No,
thought you were here.
Mrs. Ware was on the other line. So
Okay, okay. I was introducing myself in the meantime. I thought you wanted to do the honors,
please
but
go ahead, go ahead. You do a better job
you,
than that.
no, I have to tell them the story. I have to tell them the story of how I fell in love with this course. And I asked Mrs. Coke, you remember Francis Coke. So I'd asked Mrs. Coke, who was teaching the course at the time,
This
to
woman taught
encourage.
intergroup dynamics.
Who is this now? Who is this? Let me see.
Oh God,
Anwar.
Of course, of
what I
course, of
missed.
course, of course. So some of you may know me. I teach here on campus full time. I teach this course, the parallel course to this in the undergrad program, which is called Group Dynamics. And I also teach interpersonal dynamics, which is a prerequisite for the Group Dynamics course. I teach applied social psychology. I teach IO psychology. I teach um, self and social society at the graduate level. So I um, um, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I teach a lot of courses here on campus. So some of you who are coming directly from our undergrad program may be very familiar with me, especially if you were doing your undergrad in psychology. Some persons would have done undergrad in management studies or any other faculty, but you may have heard about some of my courses and took them just because they're great courses to take. Right, Anwar? Is there? Yes. Yes.
Yes,
So,
miss. Yes, miss.
yeah. So you did the interpersonal dynamics course. That was the one, right?
Yes, ma'am. I did both. I think I did applied group dynamics and interpersonal group dynamics.
Okay, great.
You would have taught me last semester.
Oh, just last semester. Wow, that was quick. So we didn't actually meet in person because we've been having online now for a year and a half,
Yes, ma'am.
going into 2 years. So we actually didn't meet part time. And if anybody else is in this group who have taught before, who knows me, would know that I am a real face to face person. I am very participatory. I like a huge participatory group. Um, I like the back and forth thing. I like the conversation. I like the strong participation. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, this mode, um, the virtual, I don't get as much of it as I would like. I really don't. But I find sometimes, depending on what we're discussing, everybody gets really animated, and I love that. I appreciate that. So, um, you know, having introduced myself, is there anything else that I needed to say? Let me go down. You know my undergrad, my teaching record here. Um, my broad area I would say, is identities. I think it spans all of the courses I've done. And my PhD work is the topic is identities in organizations. So my area of context is organizations. So this is why my PhD work is in the organizational behavior program, but I teach in the psychology unit in the Department of Sociology, Psychology, and Social Work. And so a lot of what I do overlap. Um, core to all of these courses is the notion of identities. And you will hear me bring it out in the lectures, in everything I do, in everything I say. Identities, self identity, the two terminologies, they overlap. considerably. It falls again under the broad area of social psychology. So social psychology, IO psychology, and the broader behavioral science, a broader behavioral science framework kind of defines what I do. All right. Yeah. So just to say, I'm fully here, I'm fully present for this course. It is one of my the courses that I hold very dear to my heart, as I said, because it was my introduction into teaching, into this area of teaching. As I said, took the course, fell in love with it, and was bold enough to ask the lecturer at the time to come back and tutor the course with her. She spoke to the coordinators and they were very receptive. And that was where I got my feet wet in teaching, loved teaching, and decided to make it my career. And clearly, I have not let go of this course since. So we're in for a great time, I can tell you, because I'll bring all the passion I have with me to this course. All right. Uh, Anything else? All right. Throughout the time we are together, which is the next 13 weeks, feel free to ask me anything that you'd like. I am very open to helping, to facilitating. My role is to facilitate. I will tell you, you have decided to join this program. You've decided to spend this important period of your life pursuing this degree, and this course is a part of it. And so it means that you've been very intentional, and my role is to facilitate this goal that you have, right? And so please feel free to ask for assistance, not only from me, but from the office, as I know you have been interacting with Ms. Thomas, who, believe me, throws her whole heart and soul into this program. I know she calls you personally. You will have a totally different experience having come into this program, into this graduate program. So some of you who may have done your undergraduate here, you'll find doing your graduate program a totally different experience, because for one, when you come into our graduate program, you know our colleagues. That's how lecturers interact with students, right? We've just gone a little bit ahead of you, a little bit ahead of time, right? And so we're here to, as I say, facilitate your journey. All right. So please feel free to contact us. I I try my best. Let me put it out there. I try my best in terms of getting in contact with students. I will perhaps be in a WhatsApp group with you, so I'm at least a little bit, be a little bit more accessible. I don't normally like to be in students' WhatsApp group in a direct way, because you know you might want to talk stuff that you may not want me to hear. But if not, I have no problem being a part of your WhatsApp group so I can see your questions directly and respond to them. I'll stay out of your business as much as possible, but it's good when I am present so you can talk to me directly instead of getting the information from others, because that's another thing I find that students do a lot. They want to know something and they ask somebody who worse don't have the answers, you know, and the misinformation keeps regenerating itself. So you know, let's make this experience as good as possible. Let me, Liz, I just muted her. Yeah, for all of us, as I said, this is a new domain. We're very aware that you did not necessarily sign up for an online program. You know, we offer face-to-face program, but all of us acknowledge that under the circumstances, this is what we have to work with. All right. So, and just to say one last thing, that the groups I've had before have absolutely made this work for them. So for those of you who are a little bit nervous about how this is going to work, you're not going to see your colleagues. Last year I had a wonderful group who at some point in the semester decided to meet. I mean, the conditions were not as bad now as they are now in terms of the rates, but they met and you know, just kind of bonded as they wanted to. So this doesn't have to be, you know, an aloof experience. It won't be, actually. So be creative, guys, and make it your own. All right. So that is my introduction, my 2 cents at an introduction. Any questions at this point? Any questions at this point?
No questions yet.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So this is a course in group dynamics, and I'm curious about what your expectations are. Mostly because I want to make sure I fulfill your expectations. So I am writing down as we speak. So what are your expectations? You would think I have a pen in hand, would you? You would think so. Anybody wants to make a go at it?
I think I could try.
Sure.
Afternoon, I'm Geraldine Hamilton.
Hi, Geraldine.
Hi. I think pretty much in your introduction, you would have touched on a few of the concerns. It's comforting to know that this is something that you've done for a very long time, and also you remain open to that constant feedback. I'm not sure if there are others in my position, but for quite some time, I have been out of the
Classroom.
Right, to some extent. Well, recent enough, I did a postgraduate diploma, but in terms of a degree, that sort of setting, I've been out of it for quite some time, and I was a little bit nervous coming in because I'm not really sure of the similarities with a master's versus, you know, a postgrad diploma. So you assuring us or assuring me that I can basically reach out to you at any time makes me feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yes, yes. I needed to say that because I know sometimes it appears that lectures are inaccessible. And maybe that will be the case for some persons, but not entirely so. Some of us are clearly more accessible, will be more accessible than others, sometimes even by nature of personality. But for the most part, who I know the office is, you know, always there to respond to your queries, and they will get to the lecturers if you can't get to the lecturers directly outside of class time. So we're not leaving you hanging. We won't.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else?
Good evening, Miss Morgan.
Hi, good evening.
And good evening to everyone else, and also Miss Thomas. I would just like to introduce myself. My name is Brandon Main, and I recently completed my bachelor's under the MSBM faculty. And I would just like to say that I really do have high expectations for this course. I mean, the whole program being the Master of Science in Human Resource Development, I've done my research and, I've really asked a lot of questions in terms of this program. And I've also really looked into this course as well. And I really do have high expectations. And I feel very welcomed, Miss Morgan. I feel you're a very, open person. You're somebody who I can really relate to. And I know that you're going to give us the best experience possible. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the semester. And, everything will work out as it should. And I really feel happy about entering this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you. And thank you for that confidence in me. It helps. It helps. All right. Anybody else? Maybe one more person?
Hello.
Hi, Renee.
Yes. All right. This is Renee Downey. All right. So my expectations of this particular course is that it will have a great lot of group work. And in undergrad, that was something I dreaded 100%. But being that it is at the graduate level, I think we will all approach it more maturely. And so I'm hoping that relating to my colleagues,
yes,
at this level, I'm hoping that it will be a better experience to really change my idea of group work, my feeling about group work from back then. I am hoping for the best where that's concerned.
Yes, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I will tell you that in a way, this course kind of requires you to be like quote unquote mad scientist. You are experimenting on your own self. This is a course on group dynamics, but you're observing yourself in a group, doing group dynamics, kind of very matrixy. So one of the things about this course is that it forces you to observe your own behaviors in a group. It forces you to observe how you influence or you impact persons. So it's not only about how other persons impact you, but you're also impacting the group in a tremendous way. So it's a two-way, the communication is two-way, the influence is two-way. In groups, as I say, falls under the broad umbrella of social psychology. And the nucleus of social psychology is influence. So it is really about how people influence each other. You're consistently influencing others and others are consistently influencing you. And when we begin to think of how groups work in this way, it kind of has its own dynamic outside of you. You will be able to appreciate even conflict in a group. You will be able to understand that conflict is inevitable. So you don't want to not face it, but you'd want to embrace it. You'd want to go through the process. Some of which, by the way, may not be as you'd like, maybe a little bit painful. It is in this course that I learned a lot about myself. And my style, by the way, I tell a lot about me. So a lot of the examples I'll give are about me too. I remember when I was doing this course, the lecturer called me. She said, one of my group members was complaining about me. I'm like, me? Mind you, in my mind, I'm the nicest person ever. And I am. But seriously though, I was very shocked. And her complaint about me was that I was not allowing others really to do the work. I think she wanted to do more And I was apparently blocking her. Honestly, guys, this floored me. I was like, me? So I'm looking to the lecturer who I feel like we had a good thing going, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, you talk up in class and, you know, and she says, yes, I've observed you. I was like, you're not on my side. This is me in my head. Huh? You're not on my side? So I left that meeting feeling highly criticized and down and stuff, and I thought about it, but it forced me though to literally think about it, you know, and I began asking persons, how do you see me? How am I received in groups? How am I viewed? And you know, apparently I do want to take over sometimes. I had no idea about that, guys. I had no idea. So from then, and I was one of those persons who perhaps, I don't remember that I did, would have complained that, oh, I'm doing everything, I'm doing everything, I'm doing everything. And so it allowed me to understand something, you know, very fundamental. A lot of times we're complaining that we're doing everything and stuff. It's because we don't allow others to do it. Now, why we don't allow others or why we push to do it is another question. That is deeper soul searching. You know, is it that I don't trust other people with my work with my grade? And if I don't trust, then why? Has something happened in the past where I've trusted and it didn't work out? And so is it that I feel I'm a perfectionist? What is it? What is it? So I did do some soul searching, and I worked through it. You know, in the end, we became really, really good friends, and I apologized and stuff. But it is out of this course that I began to learn that. And later on, by the way, I did a team player survey, which you guys will do. And when I learned that I was a challenger, I'm like, a challenger? Me? Again, that floored me. Why? I mean, there are 4 different types. There's the communicator, which I thought I clearly was, the collaborator, the contributor, and then there's a challenger. Why me? Why did I get the challenge? And I did it several times and I got the challenge, you know. So so again, you know, having read about the challenger, and it is even something that I came to accept and now embrace, you know. So we're very complex people. We tend to want to see ourselves as simple people who know what we want and go about it and stuff, but we're really very, very complex. So just sharing that to say I learned all of that. I learned a lot about myself and how I work with people through this course, and also through teaching this course as I go along. So in a way, I kind of tend to open up the course that kind of invites students to say what their expectations are, what you'd like to see. You know, by now, I have learned how to manage it well, you know, because this is a very thin line. So I've learned how to manage it well. And this is why I say, you know, I come to the table, I would say, with really good experience and well prepared to impart what I've learned and to help you to develop your own skills as a person who participates in group, a person who leads a group, you know, and as a person who plays several different roles in a group. All right. So long story to say that this course will change your life, really. Like everything you do really changes your life, everything you do, every decision you make. But I want us to be very intentional about how this course is changing your life in the process. It's changing how you view the world and how you view yourself, how you interact with others, how others interact with you and influence, and by relationship in terms of how we influence each other. So yeah, hope that took care of that. Any comments?
That was very much relatable. I had a similar experience. Oh,
Yes.
hi everyone. My name is T. Richards.
Teek, hi Teek.
Hi.
Yes.
I had a similar experience too. In Fountain 13, it was a challenging course, and we had to do a lot of group work. And I somewhat took on the responsibility to, get everyone together. And I had a lot of social loafers in the group, let's say. And it took a toll on me. But eventually we worked it out.
Mm-hmm.
We had meetings, and I shared my views, and they shared theirs, and we worked it out, and we did well.
Good. So you learned about yourself in the process, Teek?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Yes. Great things. All right. Good. Good. Thank you so much for sharing. And when I talk about the assignments, the whole course is designed for this kind of self-transformation, if we may. Maybe I'm being too ambitious in saying that. On the one hand, because people are thinking, oh, I'm just doing a course, I just want an A at the end. But I'm preparing you for how this course can potentially change you. And well, it will, whether intentionally or not. So today I'm going to go through the course with you, the course outline, what we're doing for the semester. We want to begin to form our groups. So you've asked if this course has a lot of group work. The answer is yes. The answer is, how could we have a group course called groups with minimal group work? So a lot of it is group work, 60% actually. There are 2 individual 10% quizzes. Is it 10 or 20% quizzes? But the majority, the rest of it is group work. All right. So as I said, we will get an opportunity to introduce ourselves and for you to talk amongst yourselves. But I think I want to go ahead and get right into the course. I want you to get a feel of it. This evening, we want to orient ourselves to what we're getting into for the next 13 weeks, right? Anything before we dive in? I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen. Anything before we dive in?
Quick question from me, Geraldine here. In terms of the group assignments, do we get that information later down after this orientation segment?
Yes, it's here actually. We have it in here.
Okay, okay.
We have it in here. So it's the introduction, which is this evening, we're doing the course introduction stroke orientation, which will involve the group with the group assignments. So we have all of our about 20 slides to go through. All right.
My internet, Ms. Morgan, but it's not clear.
So you are not hearing me clearly?
I'm not seeing what you're sharing clearly.
I'm seeing the screen clearly.
Yes.
Or not seeing it? Is everybody else seeing it clearly?
I'm seeing it clearly on my end.
It looks blurry.
Blurry.
It's blurry.
Why would it be blurry now? So confession, I'm not 100% savvy with Zoom. I use Blackboard typically. So 1 or 2 persons were here when Olivine was giving me a crash course.
Better. It looks a little bit better now.
Oh, I've done nothing. Okay. But you should have the slides. Okay, a little bit more of an orientation before we begin this. So are you familiar with OURVLE? Are you?
Yes.
You introduced, okay, so you were introduced to OURVLE, right?
Not familiar with OVO.
Not familiar with it.
You're not familiar, but do you know like where to find it, how to find it?
Yes.
Yes, given the instructions from Ms. Thomas, I am aware.
Okay, wonder if it is something I could share. All the materials that we have here are on OURVLE, but Ms. Thomas usually sends the notes, the slides to you. So did you receive these as well in your email? Did you receive like the slides for today in your email?
No.
No, we did not. I downloaded them from OURVLE.
No.
Okay, you downloaded them from OURVLE. So since they're on OURVLE, we typically wouldn't send them to you. The question is, does everybody have access to OURVLE? So OURVLE, or virtual learning environment, is our UWI platform, which you would find on, you know, the UWI website. Well, today's not the day for the tutorial, but I guess when you go into your groups, hey, here I'm giving you assignments. When you go into your groups, for those of you who know it and have been on OURVLE, could you just orient the rest of your group members to it, please? Because all the materials are here. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing those set of slides. Let me see if I can show you what OURVLE looks like quickly, just to show you that everything is here. Everything is here.
Dragon,
Yes?
there's a link Miss Sherman shared in the chat, so anyone could access it.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so you can go ahead and see it then. I don't need to share it, right? Is that it?
So you guys could go in the chat and click on the link and then it will pop up.
Okay, for OURVLE, right?
Or yes.
Okay.
Just to add that some of, I'm not sure if everyone, but some of the new, because from the conversation that, you know, some person are coming from undergrad, so they would have access, but some of us who are new are having some technical issues and are waiting on MIT to sort us out.
Okay, okay. So this is something that I'm gonna ask you guys to do in your group. I'm sure based on the distribution that at least one person in your group will be familiar with it and would be able to say, pull down the information and share it with everybody else, because everything is here on OURVLE. So let me find meeting. Let me see how this works. Share screen. So I really, no, I'm not seeing OURVLE. Am I? Nope. All right, guys. Sorry. As I told you, I'm new to this. So I'm not so sure why I'm not seeing OURVLE. I wanted to pull it up so you can see what it looks like, to show you how I've organized, how we've organized the information there. The course outline is there. The lectures, we have other materials, we have some articles here, we have, some of the activities that you'll need are here as well, but I will let you know what resources you need ahead of time so you can go here and pull it down. So the idea is everything is here already. All the lecture slides, everything, all the information is here already. And I will send you a schedule of what we're doing each week, right? Moving on, I'll send you a schedule. I don't even know if it's not here already. Let me pull this door up. One sec.
Excuse me, would you like me to share my screen?
Yeah. So I'll send you a schedule of what we'll need, what we're doing every week, so you can see beforehand how you need to prepare for class.
Miss
Is that
Morgan?
good? Yes?
Hi, would you like me to share my screen?
Sure, sure, sure. So do I?
Okay, I'm going to do, we should be able to share screen.
You're sharing?
I'm getting there. All right.
Thank you, Keisha.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Are you seeing the interface?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So this is what the login page looks like. And you enter your ID number and your password and you log in. The courses will be listed. And so you would select groups. And this stuff is there.
Yeah. Thank you.
In the folders, where there's additional reading material. And then Olivine had mentioned in the orientation that we have a librarian and there is a class library and a bookshelf.
Yes. Keisha, go back to the additional PowerPoint resources. Where is that? Yes.
This one?
Yes. Right. So some of these I may not do directly with you, but they're here because there's one of the assignments will ask you to prepare these topic areas. So what I've done, I've just shared slides that I had prepared on each of these topics so you can use them as a guide. So that's why I have them in a folder called additional PowerPoint resources. Thanks, Keisha.
You're welcome. So stop sharing and
Go back to the page. Let me see if there's anything else I needed to point out. Go up, 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 up towards the top. You guys will be doing up, Keisha.
okay.
Reading materials, not reading materials. Oh, team player survey. You'll need this team player survey. You don't have to open it because it's just a Word document. And you'll also need, go up, go up, go up. We're also going to be doing the personality inventory. So these are some resources. You don't have to open them. So I just wanted to show you guys that everything is already here. All right. Thanks, Keisha.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're familiar with OUR-VLE. So we're going to be between OUR-VLE and Zoom. I did have the link as well. I did have the Blackboard link because I thought we were going to use Blackboard. But Ms. Thomas has advised that what she'll do, she'll make several Blackboard links for you so you can use them for group meetings. I don't think you'll have the time constraints that you perhaps will on Zoom if you've not bought the Zoom license. So I think you guys may find it easier to work on Blackboard. The platforms are very, very, very similar. So this is why I'm able to work with Zoom. I don't normally present on Zoom, so I'm learning very quickly, but it's very similar to Blackboard, so it's not hard. All right, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share now, 6:44, the slides. So in the meantime, as I'm sharing, typically what I do is it's a long session, 3 hours. People ask me, you teach a class for 3 hours? Seriously? Guys, you'll see 3 hours go by like that, very, very fast. Well, maybe because I'm excited and you're home. So I have to really remember to stop, give a break, that kind of thing. So I usually throw it out at the beginning. My preference is to just go right ahead and try to get done by 8:30. Give you the break at the end. Depending on how the mood of the class is, if you guys are a little bit tired, maybe we can stop in the middle. Maybe we could stop at say 7:15, 7:30 and take a 10-minute break and come back. As I said, my natural preference is to go on up to the end. But if in any class you feel like, this is a lot, we've been doing a lot and we really need to stretch our legs and take a break, then I'm open. Somebody just needs to mention it. And if other members of the class feel so, then I'm good to go. Then I'm good to go with that. This class, in the face-to-face mode, we would normally be doing exercises, role plays, group exercises, because, this is an experiential course. And so you'd be getting an opportunity to do activities in the group, and you're observing yourselves as you're doing the activities in your group. I've done this now just 1 year in this mode. It's not as easy as I would like it to be, but I'm trying to do some of that at least with the breakout groups, right? So when I do this, so I've kind of reconfigured some of these activities, and when I do this, I'm just gonna have to be switching between groups to see how things are going. So if we have a group activity, then, you go into your breakout group and then you come back and you talk about what you did or how it went. And I would have been jumping in and out of your groups to try and observe what's going on. So I can give my take as well on how the groups went, on how things are going. So typically this is what it will look like. But yeah, I'll guess I'll expound if there's anything else to expound on as we go through this orientation. All right, so here we go. Yeah. All right, so typically I would start with this. Some of you who have been in classes with me, I like this activity. I like this activity because it would have you, and I could still do this activity, but just let's hang on that for now. I did carry out this activity, so let's hang on that for now. Let me just go ahead and then we can come back to that. All right. So if you're looking at the course outline, and the course outline is on OUR-VLE, maybe you've downloaded it. What I've done is kind of pick stuff from the course outline and placed it in this PowerPoint format so we can go through it easily. All right. So this course, it's a theoretical, practical, and experiential exploration of groups, right? And we get into the fundamentals of group dynamics, group structure, group processes, and group development. So typically, all things groups, that's what we are doing in this course. But to understand groups though, right, you need to understand yourself, because it's people who make up groups. And what we learn from this course is that even though it's individuals who make up groups, a group is different from the individual. So when you are a part of a group, you're a collective. And a collective behavior, your collective behavior is vastly different from your individual behavior. So one of the things we're going to be observing is the distinction between us as a collective, you as a member of a collective, or you as a collective, and you as an individual who is a part of a collective. So in that, some exploration, self-exploration will occur, right? And groups typically are developmental, right? Every single individual is attached to a group via categorization in a group. So by saying I'm Jamaican, right? Jamaica is a group, right? And your attachment to the group Jamaica says a lot about who you are. So a lot of times the development of Jamaica, the collective speaks to your development as a group, and individuals need to be connected, attached to a group for their own personal development as well, right? So groups and individuals, right, share a mutually beneficial relationship. There are no individuals without groups, and there are no groups without individuals. All right. So we have to get into a little bit of self-exploration. So we're also going to be exploring opportunities to develop the skills that will enhance you as a practitioner, as an HRD practitioner, right, to intervene and address a variety of group-based issues in your organization. So we're cognizant that you're not just doing a course on group dynamics for doing a course on group dynamics sake, right? It's contextual, right? So you are observing yourself. You will be getting the opportunity to observe yourself as a practitioner of HR in an organization setting. And so you'll be learning of, you know, some of the I'm getting a feedback. Hold on. Are you hearing me clearly, guys? Hello?
Yes, you are.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you. I was getting a little bit of feedback. Yeah, man. So you will be able to understand some of the polarities that this role offers. You know, this is an HRD program. And so there is a little implicit assumption that many of you do want to become HR practitioners, HR directors. I can tell you that I did this program. And so perhaps at least 50% of my extremely close friends are HR personnel, HR directors, HR managers, by now they're at least HR managers, at least, because I did it a very long time ago. So, you know, for some of you, it's a career move, you know, and whether or not it is so, whether or not you directly want to get into HR or not, it's no problem. We are all HR personnel. If you're an account, you know, manager, you're an HR personnel. I can tell you that because HR offers the accounting manager, will offer the accounting manager some opportunity to participate in the HR process, I'm sure. You know, you will tell the HR director the kind of person that you want to join your accounting team, or the kind of person you want to join the marketing team, right? HR just kind of does the processing for you. So no matter what area, no matter where you end up out of this course, whether it's directly in HR or not, you will be using everything that you've done in this course. All right, so insights into interpersonal and group dynamics related theories to anchor your learning experience for the application within the work environment. So this is an academic institution, this is an academic course, and you cannot escape the theories, right? One of the things I'd love to encourage us to do is to see how theory and practice blend. You know, very often people refer to theory as a distant cousin of practice. You guys up there doing your thing up UE, you know, and that's not how it works in the workplace. You know, I hear that all the time. And I'd like us to begin to see the connections very, very clearly, because if we don't, we really leave all of what we've studied in the classroom on the first class paper, on the distinction paper. You leave it there and you go into the organization as a different quote unquote animal, you know. But I want us to be able to take that distinction, take that degree, and really unravel it, unfold it in your day-to-day life. All right. So let's see how we're able to do that, to do this. All right. So that's what we want to offer in this course by way of a course introduction. I kind of went into this. I told you my area of work is identity. And so it is central, you know, to everything I do. Identity speaks to how you define yourself, how we define who we are. So identity is simply a self-referential understanding of who I am, of who you are, of who we are together, right? So I wanted us to become aware, or to sensitize us of the overlap between you and the group, right? My work is a little bit complicated, trust me. Even in carrying out this, I can tell you, I literally became a little bit confused at times. Trust me, I would say sometimes we have to be very careful about what we choose to study, how we choose to invest a lot of our time and energy in, because yeah, you become what you do. So everything is, you know, I think about myself in relation to, you know, it gets all complicated. So in my study, what I've done is kind of hashed out the different sources that tie the group to the individual, right? And I talk about the collective, which is when you think of, say, when you say we are, or how would you say? You would say Jamaicans, us Jamaicans, you're thinking of yourself as part of a big collective, right? When you say we are Jamaicans, believe it or not, there's a different understanding of yourself, right? Us Jamaicans is different in a way from we Jamaicans. And when we think we Jamaicans, we're thinking of us in an interactional way, right? And when we think groups, we think of how we are interacting to form or to create the collective, right? So the group aspect of it, right, is the interactional aspect, us constructing who we are as us, right? So as us, which is a collective, these are the structures. The roles, when we think of ourselves in roles, we're thinking of how individually we are contributing to the interactions, right? And when we think of ourselves as persons, we actually are thinking about ourselves as distinct from the group, right? But we're distinct from the group, right? But the group also defines who we are. So again, it's complicated. So when you say, you know, so in my question, you know, I say, tell me about yourself, or, you know, we're talking and somebody would say, yeah, they want to think this is my life, work is my life, but no, as 5 o'clock, I'm out of here because I have to go home to my family, or I have my friends to go to, you know, all of that. when an individual say that, or when you find yourself saying that, you're establishing yourself as a person who is different from the group. So you are part of the group, but you can distinguish yourself from the group. And the whole individual group thing gets very complicated because a huge part of you needs to connect with the group, need to say that you belong to the group, need to find some sense of belongingness with the group. And a huge part of you needs to establish your individuality or your independence away from the group. Am I making sense? Yeah, please.
Yes, miss, I'm following.
Okay.
Yes, so far I'm good.
Okay, great. Thank you. I just became aware of myself getting very much into this. I'm so loving this. But so please feel free to stop me and, you know, say slow down or something. Or maybe you have some insights as I'm talking and you just want to jump in and say, you know, I understand this because, you know, I'd love that as well. So yeah, the individual and the group and the complexity involved is fascinating to me, extremely fascinating to me. And I want to share that in my work in this course. All right, haha. All of this explains all of what I just said. So I wasn't comfortable just talking, I wrote it all out. So I'm not gonna go back through this, right? But I just, as I said, kind of defined out what I meant by a collective, we, us versus I, you know. Let me tell you what they would be. So the collective would be us, the group would be we, the roles would be me, and the person would be I. These are all ways that we refer to ourselves, you know, in a way that attaches us to a group. Because yes, when you say us, you're involved. When you say we, you're involved. When you say me, you are talking about yourself in relation to others. And I, you are distinguishing yourself in a way from others. So yeah, so these kind of explained it out for you. What do I have here? The collective mind, 1 and 1 equal 3, finally proved. Anybody, what am I getting at here? What do you make of this?
It's synergy.
Synergy, yay! Want to explain it out some more?
It's a sort of efficiency that is experienced when everybody does their part. So everybody's participation makes the work lighter and more and occur maybe faster. So if everyone plays their part, let's say we're looking at a sequence, if everyone plays their part in this, we would finish faster and people wouldn't be stressed out as much. And also you have to sometimes look at the fact that your output is somebody else's input.
Yes, yes. I love that. So synergy, meaning interdependence. I can't do without you, you can't do without me. If we didn't need each other, then we wouldn't have a group. True? Yeah?
Yes.
All right, thank you for that. Anybody have any other spin on this?
Yes, miss. I would like to make one word that comes to mind, and this carries me back to high school days when I was doing biology, is mutualism. But I think my fellow colleague explained that using synergy basically the same way. You know, the idea is I benefit you and you benefit me, but in the end, we're all individuals that are a part of the same group or team. And in the end, if we can work together or, you know, and always add value, the group will prosper in the long run. And it's not just about the individual. It's a you know, the work ethic in the group can carry you full on all the way. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. So what we're saying too is that when and one come together, we create more than each other. Isn't that so?
Right. It's a collaborative effort.
Yes. And the equal three is the outcome of the collaborative effort. So you alone is one, right? And the other person alone is one. 1 + 1 equals 2, really. But what we're saying is there's a particular dynamic that's at play when people come together and call themselves a group, right? That spins the outcome from 1 + 1 equals 2, right? In an additive way to 3. So the outcome is greater than the sum of its parts. So, I mean, this revelation has been, it's been most impactful for me. It's been very impactful for me. And I've found, interestingly, I've found that I've been using it to explain a lot of things. And this is the thing, guys. We're here doing a course on group dynamics, but I want you guys to think of it in all aspects of your life. I want you to think of how it spans not just your role in the organization and what you do at work, right? But what you do in your family, what you do in your friends, you know? So literally I was explaining to a friend of mine, she's, you know, we're talking about some relationship issues that she's having with her husband. And she kind of, you know, those kind of questions that are very raw. Like she's like, what should we do? You know, like they've been having so many questions, but so many issues, but like in the moment we're talking and then she just kind of looks at me and I feel so moved, like, what should we do? And I felt, it's not cornered isn't the word, but I felt like she needed an answer. And guys, believe it or not, this formula came in my mind when she asked. From the perspective, I was like, all right, so perhaps right now, I mean, this is not exactly how I said it. I'm sure, you know, you guys are operating as individuals, you know, who have your own dreams, you have your own goals and stuff, and that's fine, right? And that needs to be, that really needs to be. And I want you guys to expand your minds to think of it even outside of relationships to in a group. Each person comes to the group, each person comes to a union with his or her own desires, own goals, your own individuality, and that needs to maintain, right? That needs to be maintained rather. However, both of you should be working at the same time to build what you call a collective mind. You know, both of you should be working at the same time to build something that is greater than you, that you will tap into when you need the resources for the individual to work. So, and it's the same thing as I say, whether it is a two-person group coming together to form a union, to form a collective, or you're working in your group work, in your classroom group work, or you're working in an organization, right? What individuals do when they come together, they don't necessarily sublimate their individuality, their individual tendencies. They shouldn't really. It is tempered for sure, but at the same time, you should be working together to build something that is bigger than you. And this thing that is bigger than you is what you will tap into when you need it, when the individuals are not strong enough to stand on their own. So you ask yourself, what did we agree on as a goal for how we should proceed in such a situation? So these are in organizations, they're really policies. in your group work, they're really the bigger norms that you agree on collectively. What should we do when we have this situation? That would have already been established and decided on, and you tap into that. Because outside of that, when you're in conflict, and there's no resource, there's no collective resource to tap into, then everything can disintegrate really easily. So, as I said, it was a moment where I realized that a lot of what you do here in this course, you can translate it in a range of other areas of your life. So just hope I'm selling you this now, guys. The course and just assuring you that this was a great decision to do this. So yeah. So as I said, this is really just my expounding on this. So I would advise or encourage you rather to read over these slides in your own time. And if you have any questions, if anything jump out at you, just make a note of it and ask me about it next week. All right. So yeah. All right. So here now, we're getting into the meat of the course, what we're doing. We are going to get a little bit into your personality. Remember, we want to know about you. We want to know about what you bring to the table, who you are. The idea is not to get rid of you in a group, but to enhance you, right? So let's find out a little bit about ourselves. And this translates in a group setting to your role, right? So in roles, say the role of a manager, the role of a caretaker, whatever role you play in your organization or in your group, right? That is, a role is an organizational structure, right? So a manager is a role on the organization chart. Isn't that so? The clerk, the manager, the senior manager, all of those are roles, right? But roles do not play themselves, if you may. It's individuals who enact roles, right? And in the enactment of a role, here is where you get a chance to express your individuality, right? And this is why every person who takes on this role as a manager, the manager of accounts department or the manager of HR department, will play the role in a unique way, right? Every leader who joins, every president who joins, that's a role, right? But the role comes alive, right? When the individual occupies or steps into that role. And here is where you get a chance to see who you are, to see your personality, right? The sociologists see roles as all subsuming because roles come with very clear expectations for behavior, right? So as the HR manager, of course, you're expected to be X and to do Y, right? And so this is why sociologists will tell you that roles in a way kind of sublimate people's personality. But the psychologists will tell you that it's an opportunity to express personality. But we know it's a bit of both. My position or my take is with the people who say it's a bit of both. So here you will see how personality takes center stage in different roles that we play in the organization and in our lives, in your lives in general. Team building is one of the cornerstones of organization because yes, you are working together, and I say that team building is really something that organization should continually do build teams. This is something that you learn, but over time you forget, you know. Socialization is very interesting, and ongoing socialization, especially now in today's tumultuous world, is key. So team building is something that we're going to explore, and organizational identification and socialization, you know, just kind of captures all of what we're talking about here. All right. So that's the core of what we're doing, right? But we are going to understand the whole topic of group dynamics by really getting into the areas of study. So when you're studying group dynamics, the topics you will see are leadership, conflict, group performance and productivity, decision making, cohesion and development, power. These are all basic topic area in any group dynamics text. So any text you take up on group dynamics, these are what you will find in the context, the content of the text. All right. So one of your assignments will have a group selecting one of these topic areas and presenting them. So instead of my, you know, going over the topic areas, in a way, kind of like a karaoke, this is performance and what we do in performance, I'm having you do this, research the topic area and come back and present it. Of course, there's a format for presentation, but we'll talk about that. So I can't have you leaving this course and not getting into the core of group dynamics, which are all these different topic areas, right? We also want you to leave the course with an appreciation of how to analyze a group, what to look for, right? As we say, a group is an organism, you know, a group is a living system, it's a living thing, right? And I want us to develop what I call a third eye for understanding. A lot of people have this kind of naturally, you know, people say, oh, I'm able to read people. But what I want us to develop is the ability to read a group as a whole, to understand the group as a whole. So there's a lot of things I find in psychology, social psychology in general, that we do in a layman's way, right? But here's how, you know, participating in a course of study, like in this formal university setting, helps you. It helps you really to label what you do, right? It's funny, but you'll be doing something and it's until you begin to see it as an area of study, right? Something that people spend a lot of time studying and researching and understanding, and you understand it yourself, then you begin to appreciate the power of what it offers, both to you and how you interact with others in a situation. So this is definitely one of the things that I find an education does for us. You know, I feel like nowadays as educators, we have to kind of make ourselves relevant. You know, I tell students all the while, like one day it kind of hit me that, hey, people are now walking around with the world of information in your hands, like literally. Think about it. You walk around with your iPhone or your Android, whatever it is, right? Anything that you want, Google. You know, my 5-year-old knows how to navigate Google beautifully, right? So we are not, and we're in what we call the information age. So our job is not to give you more information. You already have it. You know, I can ask a question in class and you can Google. I have no problem with that, by the way. I have absolutely no problem with that. When you Google, whatever response you get, it gives me an opportunity for me to say, what my take on it is, or how you should understand this. Because as you know, not all information is very credible, right? And people encourage the use of Google. I mean, I encourage the use of it, especially at this level, because you should be able to discern what is credible or valid information from what is not. It's one of those tools that, you really just have to be very careful about how you use it, So we're living in an age where you really shouldn't be asking in a class, and students say they don't know. That blows me. You have a phone. How do you say you don't know and you have a phone? So yeah, so you have the information. My role is to help you how to use it, to critically understand it, to turn it over, and to make it work for you. That is our role as educators, especially at this level, right? So how do you analyze a group? How do you use the information that you're learning here to develop your own team building program in your organization? How do you use the information to develop your own program of organizational orientation? The broader area. The information you'll get is on group socialization and organizational identification. It's very hard for you to take this information in its raw state and use it as such, but how do you transform it into something very usable in your everyday work? So that's what we're trying to do in this course. Well, that's what I try to do. That's as an educator. And that's how I really try to keep myself very relevant, as I say, in this quote unquote information age. Yeah, I don't know what's the age range of us in this group, but I don't know about you guys, but I remember when getting information for me was literally going to Tom Redcom Library. That's in my high school stage, or at UE, going over to the library, waiting days to borrow one of the 2 or 3 main books. You have your little spot in the library, you sleep, everything in that library. You know, you wait until a book comes out. You have to wait. You have to go to the library and ask if you can get a copy of an article. It was crazy. But now you can be in the comfort of your bed browsing UE Library, the articles on UE Library. You don't even have to leave. You can be in the comfort of your home reading a book, a textbook on your Kindle, more so. You can be in the comfort of your car, and maybe you shouldn't do this, even though I do it, listening to audiobooks. That's my newfound thing. I discovered I'm very audible. So yeah, so information is abound, guys. The whole thing is, how do we use this information? That's where we are right now. How do we use it appropriately? All right. So how do we go about this course? Methodology. This course will employ experiential methods. Yes, I did say, I touched on this. Simulation exercises. As I said, guys, I don't want to sell this thing, what I can't. How do I put it? This example just came to mind the other day. My brother was here from abroad, and he went to this COVID testing site, and the lady collected his money and stuff, and he was there waiting for a long time, and very agitated. And then he asked, what happened? Why am I waiting so long? And the receptionist told him that the doctor wasn't here yet. So he's like, how are you selling something that you don't have? You don't have it. I want my money. So when I thought of this, the that we're talking about role plays and simulation exercises, please don't come at me. How are you selling something that you don't have, that you can't give? So, but I'm gonna try though. I'm gonna try with the breakout groups and stuff. As I say, we know this is. Let's blame it on COVID. I'm not into blaming, but I feel like blaming today. I can have one of those days, right? So, but we're gonna do our best to be as interactive as possible. So we're asking that we take personal and collective responsibility for learning and for monitoring individual responses and growth. And this will be accommodated to the use of peer evaluations, continuous feedback from lecturers and peers, and from, it's not an individual learning journal per se, but, you know, I will ask you to talk about your experiences, your learning experiences throughout. All right. So here is it. This is a 3-credit course, and 60% of it is group work, 40% is individual work. And I have a further breakdown of how this goes. So here's the breakdown. So this 20%, this 40%, that's individual, right? You'll get a quiz, and the quiz is 20 marks, right? But I'm giving you 2 quizzes, and each quiz is 20. So it's a half mark then for each correct answer. Right. And I'll tell you beforehand, and I'll tell you the topics that you're getting the quiz on. So don't worry about that yet. I'll definitely tell you. I will want to administer the quiz on OUR VLE. So I'm going to have to make sure that all of you have access to OUR VLE to be able to do this. All right. So it's 2 quizzes, and I'll give 20 items for each quiz. So it means that each item is marked, is a half mark. All right. Individual self-assessment. Here's your other 20%. Remember, we did say we want to look at ourselves. I'll get into what this individual self-assessment is, but it's due way in December because.
Miss?
Yes?
I'm realizing I'm seeing dates for everything else except when the quiz will be taking place.
Yes, I know, because I will tell you, sorry, I will tell you when. Usually about, when did I have the quizzes? Usually, when I'm looking at I was making some rough notes here. When did I have the quizzes? Way down. One towards like the end of the course, like in November, and one say mid-October. Yeah. Where are we? Oh, September.
Quick question.
Yes, sure.
What's the structure of the quiz?
Okay, it's multiple choice. It's multiple choice. Anybody ever here ever done any multiple choice on OUR VLE?
Yes, in criminology.
Yes. So how it's usually, I usually give you the quiz to take over, say say over a 24 to 48 hour period, right? And I think now the university is saying drop it to just 24-hour period. What this means is anytime within 24 hours, you can go online and do it. For a 20 item quiz, the time is usually about half an hour, 45 minutes. You really don't need that long, but I'll tell you, about 45 minutes. It's just 20 or 30 minutes to do 20 quizzes. It's fairly straightforward on the OUR VLE platform. when you log in, it takes you right to the quiz. I usually set it up so that you see 2 questions per page, at least, 2 or 3 questions per page, to cut down on or to amplify the validity of the quiz, or to, there are some things that we put in place. So for example, we will tell you that we're not allowing you to go back. So look very carefully at the answers that you're selecting, right? Because I don't usually allow students to go back. Like, what did I put for? I want to check over the quiz. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's also another feature where we perhaps disable the ability for you to open another browser on, the instrument you're using. I mean, you could also use a phone. It doesn't, I don't usually put that one in, but we've been doing this for quite a while now. We've really not had an issue. So it's literally multiple choice questions, guys. It's 20 multiple choice questions, A, B, C, D, 4 responses, and you pick one and move on with your life. But as I tell you, I will tell you exactly what eras the quiz are coming on. It's not a pop quiz. It's not a surprise. That's not the idea of it at all. I just kind of want to know where I am, and I'll give you, I promise, at least 2 weeks notice to prepare.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm hearing that you said that you don't give us the ability to review back our questions.
Mm-hmm.
But when I select it, so I was kind of.
What do you mean? Like, oh, you mean, so
Yeah.
like when you get to number 1, you select the answer.
For instance, so you said we're able to see 2 questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see question 1 and you say, all right, then I think this is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But then I get a glimpse of something in it, and I say, no man, that answer you're wrong. Want to go back?
Yeah.
Don't allow to.
Nah.
That kind of that rough.
I know, right? I know. I don't know what else to say.
Can I?
Yes. Yes.
Could we use? Could you consider giving us our test on maybe? I'm not sure what it's called. Google something. I don't know if anyone knows the name of it.
I know it. I think my kids use it.
Yeah.
On the Google Classroom. You see what it is. We really have to stay, especially for exam purposes, with the UE software. We really have to stick to that. We've decided to use Zoom. Zoom is not our official software. It's Blackboard, but because Blackboard can be problematic, as Ms. Thomas says, we've seen students keep dropping out of Blackboard. We've selected to use Zoom, but we really are required to use the tools that UE provide. So that's a constraint. Sorry, that's a constraint. But trust me, it's nothing to worry about. It's it's something students have been doing. It's not experimental. It works. I can tell you. We're not in the experimental stage anymore. It works. So it's nothing to worry about, guys. And as I say, I will prepare you well for it. I really will. Yeah. Thank you for those questions. I'm sure we'll get back to the quizzes at another time. So yeah, so we'll have the quiz, that's 20. So you'll do it twice. Each time is for 10 marks. And then your self-analysis. And in this now, you will be given, you'll be asked to use the personality inventory or the team player survey. Sometimes I say both or and. And what you'll be doing is you'll be completing the survey and you will be asking somebody else to complete the survey, at least 2 other persons to complete the survey. And you're kind of looking at their responses in relation to your responses, and you're writing up about the responses in a reflective and introspective way. The course outline details provide very, very clear details about what is expected when you're writing this up. So that we will get into. I can get into the details again another time. But for now, I just want to tell you what the assignments are. Another assignment. So this is really 100% coursework, because even the quizzes are coursework. You will be doing, oh, I did mention your topic area presentations, right? So one of the things we're going to do this evening is to get us into groups, right? And in the groups, when you get into groups, you're going to choose a topic area. And I spoke about the topic areas: performance, group performance and productivity, conflict, leadership, anyone. So a group selects one of those, or I may assign an area to a group. I think it's easier when I assign an area to a group. And the group researches the topic area. And I would say you can use the text that we use, which is the foresight, as a guide. And I have some slides online as well. And you prepare a 15 or 20-minute presentation on the topic area. Yeah. And that's for 20 marks. And that's group work. All right. So at the end of the day, you will learn more about group performance and productivity, but you're also helping the class to understand this area as well. All right. So that's one group work. Another group work. This one is really meant for you to kind of look around, to reflect on your own workplace. So somebody from the group may want to share about what their orientation program is like, right? So even if you're not currently working, or you're not working in an organization that has such a program, that's fine. At least one person in the group should at least have some semblance of such a program in the company. And I'd like you to tap into that. And your group now will discuss this orientation program, right, in relation to the theories that you're learning about group socialization and orientation. And again, for that, the assignment is very guided. So it's not something that you'll have to ponder, how am I going to use this information. I provide a guide, and I'll tell you too, it's just a guide, meaning that I encourage your own creativity. The guide is really just to say what the basic expectations are. So, and this is 10%. So I'm not asking you to come up with a brand new orientation program. This is purely, I'm seeing this as a discussion that your group will have around, program in one of your company. So I'm imagining that the person will share the program and you're discussing the program in relation to the information that you have. And so in one of the classes, you will be just asked to share this, right? So you can share this in the form of, and put your presentation in a PowerPoint form just to keep it coherent, and then you'll share that PowerPoint, but it's something that I'll grade you on spot. So I'll grade the topic area presentations and I'll grade this on spot, right? I will ask you though to send, for the topic area presentations, you're gonna be doing a PowerPoint. So I'll ask you to send me the PowerPoint presentation and I'll look at that I'll grade you on spot, but I'll give you the grade like the following week, because if I missed anything and I would have picked it up on the presentation itself. So I'll give you the grade for that the following week, as well as the orientation program. All right, so that's that. And then, oops, here's the thing now, here's this one, the analysis, the group analysis. So I fluctuate with this. Last year, I asked that the groups analyzed, you analyze your own group, right? Again, picking one of the topic areas. So you would have presented a topic area. Say you presented communication, right? You could, your group could use that same topic since you've researched extensively on it. You could analyze your group from a communication perspective, or you could analyze your group or another group from a performance and productivity perspective, right? So typically I ask you to assess the HRD group in general, right? So what is your take on the HRD group in general? So that's the collective. And how does this same concept play out in your personal group? So what do you observe, right? In the HRD class in terms of how communication unfolds, right? And what do you observe in your own group in terms of how the communication dynamics play out as well? So in a way, you're kind of doing a kind of comparison, if you may, of what occurs at the big level, the collective level, and what occurs at the individual level. In your discussion, you'd say, are there overlaps? You know, is there a distinction between how the class communicates as a whole and how you in your small group communicate as a whole, right? As we said, this is a part of in a way, a kind of simulation exercise. Organizations operate like that all the time. There's what the company does, but then there's what the department does. Are there consistencies typically between what the company does and what a department does, or even what a unit does, right? And what are the implications for the inconsistencies as well? So this is where I want us to put our heads in terms of analyzing. You know, it's easy for us to see that those people in accounts don't do things the same way like everybody else. But they seem to get away with it. Why is that so? You know, or why is marketing so dynamic? Why do they seem to get all the resources? Why? You know, so those are smaller groups. Departments are smaller groups. And even within departments, you have smaller groups within departments, right? So groups operate in a kind of nested way. There's a broad organization, then there could be divisions, then there could be departments, then there could be units, then there could be teams, you know. So we want to get a sense of, you know, how this matrix kind of work, but we're not looking at it in such a cascading way. We're looking among ourselves in the HRD program. Can we see a distinction between communication as a whole versus communication in my small group? That's where my head was when I was thinking through this assignment. Does it make sense for you? Anybody?
Yes,
Yes,
it
Miss,
makes
it
sense.
makes sense.
Okay, great. Thanks. Validation is key. All right. And then finally, this here, it's all of 15 marks, but maybe I really should say, you know, this is like a part of the coursework group 3, right? But what you're doing in 4, because remember in 3, you're say you're looking at communication in the large group and communication in your small group, right? But I shouldn't necessarily separate 3 and 4. But the reason I separate them, guys, is that I want 4 to be a little bit more detailed, right? So in 4, you're taking a broader self-analysis of your group. You're asking questions of your group like, did we achieve what we set out to achieve? So you're asking questions about the functioning and the productivity of your group as a whole. How did we come together as a group? That's one of the questions that's so important. And this is why I say even the formation of the group is important to me, right? Because it tells a lot about the identity that the group takes on and shapes for itself. When I talk about 1 + 1 = 3, right? That collective is an identity that the one and the one person, when they come together, they form something that is bigger than themselves. So you guys come together as individuals with, your desires, you're this, you're that, but can you discern for yourself that thing that you have formed outside of you that helps to sustain and maintain you individually, right? So when I'm asking about the group self-analysis, I'm asking you to reflect on your formation and development. I'm asking you to reflect on the systems that you've put in place for yourself. So your system of norms. So I'll be directly asking groups to write down, rules or behavior guidelines for how you behave in your group, right? Again, as I say, guys, the idea of this is that if we want a great group in any context, any situation, we have to be intentional, right? So group norms and goals do form, right? And sometimes a group will be given a goal. Like you guys are given a goal. This is what I want the group to do, right? But the group has a responsibility to set its own goal within the goal that is given to you, right? And I usually see this goal manifest in different ways. So for example, say, yeah, your goal is to do this assignment and do it well, right? That's what I tell you to do. However, I will see a group that has set a goal like, we want an A, or I would see a goal group that has also included a goal like, we want to operate with a sense of harmony, right? Or we'll see a different goal with a group that says, we want to continue this relationship outside of this class, So these are goals sometimes that are explicitly stated, and these are goals sometimes that kind of emerge. But even as the goals emerge, they weren't explicit. What I want for you guys to do is to observe them and to make note of them. So we didn't specifically say, that we want to gel in this kind of way, but we see how we have, through our actions, through our suggestions, through our behaviors, we have done this. And so you write that down as something that you've observed of yourself as a group, right? So this self-analysis, as I said, I excluded it from number 3 because it's broader. And as I said, I have guidelines. So I'm not just, throwing you into the deep end. There are some guidelines, but as I said, there are guidelines that you can work with, that you can shape, and yeah. So yeah, that's what your coursework and course assignments look like. Yeah. Any questions?
No question from me.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I think having kind of explained it here, right? I think I'm going to leave you to read it. Here they are explained in full. So this is what the self-analysis is, right? Remember I told you their guidelines. These are the guidelines for the topic area presentation. These are the things that I'm looking for. Content, application, engagement. Here is the group analysis, right? Your cohort what? 24 or 25? Cohort
25.
25? I swear, guys, I keep mixing it up. Yeah. I'm not even telling you what cohort I was.
Your screen is blurry.
Oh, sorry. Maybe because I'm switching it. Anybody wants to guess what cohort I was?
It's 5.
Who is that?
Shakira.
Oh, I'm not looking at it because I'm on the screen sharing. How near you are, how near you are, how near you are, how near. Okay.
8.
How far you are, how far you are, how far you are, how far. Go again. What?
6.
How medium.
4.
4.
4.
Who says 4?
Lydia did.
Who?
Lydia.
Lydia. Hey, Lydia.
Hello.
Will there be prizes?
Oh, you mean, girl? I have a prize for you. You have to call me offline. I'm gonna have to take that offline. Oh my, Lydia. Oh man. Okay, when I come over, I take your details, okay? And then one of our
I'm not representative.
somebody from my production team will we'll let you know what the prize is, okay, Lydia?
Okay.
All right. So yeah, I was cohort 4.
I think I deserve a portion of the prize because I was the one who asked about the prize and put the prize in mind.
No, man. No, that is clever. That is clever. All right. You see, if I wasn't thinking about it, then you would have got the prize. But since I was already thinking about it, should she get it, guys? Hello. Let me see if your classmates.
Yeah, she should get it. Yes, yes, I believe.
Thank you.
Oh boy. So I'm not seeing the name. Yeah. So who is which name is that? I'm not seeing. So
that's Renee.
Renee.
Oh, portion of Lydia's prize.
Okay, Renee. So both Renee and Lydia.
Yeah, I'm willing to share, Renee.
Okay, my production team will be in touch with you, and you will collect your prize. Okay. All right. Oh boy. Thank you guys for just sharing this with me. Yeah. So where was I? Cohort. Yeah. So this is the assignment. I'll change that to 25. I wonder if I could change it now. Could I?
It's correct.
Yeah.
No, correct. 24 correct.
Oh, 24 was correct. Okay. Okay. I'm always mixing it up. Locks. I'm not that old now, you know. No, that's even weird. 24, 4, 24. It's like seasons here. You know, like it's a season 5, but it's not really 5 years. That the thing going on. Oh boy. All right, guys. So yeah, so I'm gonna give you the opportunity then to go through this, read them, read it carefully, right? Jot down questions that you may have, and then we'll start our classes kind of going back over what we've done, like 15 minutes um what is the word I need when you go back over, what you do?
Review.
Review. Review.
I
You know,
had
it's so
a
funny.
question
Sure.
about the self
Mm-hmm.
analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Will there be a review before final submission?
Oh, you mean like if I take your stuff and review it?
Yes, yes.
Um, truthfully, typically no. Typically no. Why? Because it's a lot of work. But I will help you in whatever way I can. So suppose there's a section of it or something, you know, but to literally go over it in full. And perhaps if you hadn't asked this question in class, but you had asked me one away, I would have done that. But since you asked me in class, I'm gonna have to give an answer. And if I say yes, it means that, you know, I would be obliged to look at everybody's. And since I really can't do that realistically, I will say though that I will help in whichever way I can. Is that a fair
Thank
answer?
you. And now I feel bad for asking.
Wait, no. No. You have to be strategic, you know. You have to be strategic in your questions.
Okay, noted.
Oh boy, you're like, if I ask
Thank you,
this.
though.
Oh boy. But thanks for asking though. And people will know that I'm willing to look at sections of it and stuff. I really am. All right. Yeah, so go through it, guys. Go through it in depth and then come back with your questions. Uh, yeah. So see, I even have how you present, what I'm looking for in your presentation, and I have the grades beside it. So when I say to you that I'm here to facilitate, if you come here to get a distinction, I'm here to facilitate your getting the distinction, right? If you come here to excel, you know, if you come here to push yourself, if you come here to see, you know, just how far you can go or what you can do because you're a little bit unsure of yourself, you know, you perhaps don't think you can push for the distinction initially because you're not so confident right now. I'm here to help you to build that confidence. You know, a lot of people just today, I have well, she's become a really good friend of mine too. She's done several of my undergrad courses. And just today she texted me and sent me a copy of her first class and, you know, circled red. And trust me, I'm jumping out of my skin for her because she's one of those students who I would say have lived her life already. Um, and decided having kids, everything to come back to undergrad. So you guys can imagine a much older person in the undergrad, and she just dove in, you know, and she just took on this role of helper, facilitator, because she learned very quickly that the more she helped and extended herself and found who she could naturally be in that setting, that was her thing. and she ended up with the first class. She's like, I thought I was going to get it, but to see it on paper, trust me, I'm almost reading her text verbatim. It's amazing. And I'm so happy that I was a part of her journey. She did 3 of my courses with me. So by the end of those 3 courses, I would say we've developed a little relationship outside of the classroom. So I just to say I'm here to facilitate, to build, and um to I know it sounds corny, but literally to help people to achieve or to their best selves, to become their best selves. So yeah. So here are the details of the assignments. Now, if you see here, I'll say, even when you're writing up your coursework analysis, remember, this is you're analyzing your group. This is saying using the Lencioni model. When we're doing team building, I'm going to introduce it to Lencioni and his model, team building model. So I did say, like, I give you tools as guides to help you to analyze yourself. So you can use the Lencioni model. If there's another model you'd like to use, let me know. It doesn't have to be, you know. So pretty much I've just asked you to assess the functioning and the performance of your group. And to assess the functioning and the performance, you have to get into the structure and formation, everything of the group. And a very structured way of doing that is perhaps by using, say, a Lencioni model to do that. All right. So yeah. What else? Okay, so the text now. Here's some text. What do I say about the text? This is the main text that we use, the foresight, the Foresight, this one, group dynamics. That is quote unquote available. I don't know, Olivine may have introduced you guys to it. As an e-copy. E-copies are available. Pretty accessible, I understand. As for the others, I'm not so sure, but these are, I should really have some of the main text is a foresight. I did say that any group dynamics text would have the almost exact same content. I mean, expressed differently, of course, but all group dynamics texts would have the topics of cohesion, leadership, conflict, power, performance and productivity, decision making. These are standard topic areas that you'll find. So pretty much what I'm saying is any group dynamics text, even a group dynamics section that is a part of like a broader social psychology book is very, very useful. So textbooks are really not something that we have issues with getting and accessing anymore, especially with the advent of a lot of used book sites, and people having access to buying stuff online, you know, and for people who were even holding out against having a credit card, the Visa debit card makes it so easy to buy stuff online. So the bookshop has pretty much, our UWI bookshop has pretty much given up the fight. They're like, why are we bothering to acquire books and put them down? The students are not even buying them, because when they go through their process and they're selling a book for say 20,000, students can easily go on a used book site and buy that book for $5 US. You know what I mean? Maybe an older version of the book, but still very, very acceptable for what we're doing here. So yeah, just to say, guys, if this is an area that interests you, though. The Joining Together is a good book. The Johnson and Johnson. It's an older book. I'm not even so sure of the newer versions of it. I usually buy the latest copies of books. I don't have mine with me right here now. The Johnson Johnson is a good one because it comes with a lot of exercises. So I like that one. The Brown is a little heavy to read, you know, very, very wordy, but it's a good, I think how it presents the material is appealing to me. But I think the basic for students in general is the foresight, is the group dynamics. And here are other recommended. The Looking In, Looking Out is a book I use in the undergrad interpersonal dynamics course. I started putting it on perhaps all of my stuff a few years ago. Well, not a few years ago, a long time ago when I started teaching this course, and my neighbor and very close friend, she came up to my house and she just was browsing through my book case, and she took this out and she just read off the entire book, the Looking Out, Looking In, and she demanded I get her a copy, which I did. And you know, just the other day she reminded me I still have that book. You know, it's a book about interpersonal communication, but it's written in such practical way that, you know, it's a good book to have. And as I say, this is OB, all the OB books, the organizational behavior books, you'll find useful. The process consultation I use when I'm talking about how we analyze a team, you know, I don't use the entire book, perhaps a chapter of it. I think I wouldn't be breaking any real copyright laws if for just a chapter. I'm not so sure, but the particular chapter I use, I would be able to recommend and to say how you can get it. So so for that, it's not the entire book per se, it's a chapter or two. Yep. So that's it. And also I have some articles that I have shared with you on OURVLE, and these are reference articles. For those of you who are really interested in getting into this, you may find these articles very useful. And for the topic areas, when I'm getting into a topic areas, I'll tell you which one of the articles you should read to bolster your knowledge of the topic area. I typically give the quizzes though from the text, from the foresight. So that should be useful to you. I typically give the quizzes. I typically use the text, the Dallas foresight text as a guide for the quiz. All right. And that is that. Okay. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions?
Yes, miss.
Okay, I'm listening.
Good.
Night.
Question, miss. Should
yes.
we wait on OMT to grant us the overrides, or should we just kindly send her a message again? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, maybe we should choose a class rep now, shouldn't we? Because that's a really good question. Typically, she does it, you know, but I think if you have a class rep who would send her on behalf of the group now, that would be best rather than have a lot of persons writing to her. What do you think?
I volunteer to be.
Okay, who is this? I can't see who is talking. Who? Teek?
Yes.
T-I-Q-U-E. Q-U-E. So Teek has volunteered to be our class rep. No, Teek.
I seconded.
Who seconded?
Renee.
Renee? All right. So Renee, you know Teek?
Hi, Renee. We know each other
Hi,
now.
Teague.
Oh, on a just
Yes,
submit?
we do. We're acquainted.
Wait, so who gear right, Miss Renee? For second. Eh? Miss
Well,
Renee?
someone would have to second it, so it's not, so it doesn't turn into like a dictatorship.
I know, right? I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Thank you. Thank you. I was just gonna say that there are some official rules or there are some official expectations or requirements of the class rep, which don't ask me. Don't ask me. I am sure OMT, I never did learn them. I'm asked to select one all the time, but I never did. One of the things I know that in the past they would be required to administer the evaluations for the lecture, but not so anymore because everything is online. So before the online dispensation, the class rep would literally go to the dean's office to collect these paper and pencils for evaluation, and I'd be asked to pause the class for about 15 minutes or so while the class does the evaluation, but not so anymore. So outside of that one duty or responsibility that would be bestowed in a formal way, I'm not so sure of the others. Certainly to communicate to the office and to me, the lecturer, on the class's behalf. I don't know. I can't think of any other very formal rules. Perhaps you guys want to decide what it is. And I can ask OMT to say if there's anything specific from the office. But I like that we have selected Teak in this formal way, seconded by Renee. Is there any objections? I suppose I should ask that now. Is there any objections to Teak being the class rep? So Teak, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Teak. I did my undergrad in psychology and I minored in criminology. I'm currently working at Bank of Jamaica as an administrative assistant for a director for currency. I love food.
Work where? Didn't hear.
Are you hearing me?
Didn't hear where you were.
Bank of Jamaica.
As an admin assistant?
Right.
For currency?
Currency director.
Okay.
I love food. I enjoy reading and listening to music. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. So, if you don't mind, Teak, you really don't mind what that I throw a question at you. Read the leadership role.
No, that's fine.
Okay, what would you say qualifies you most to take on this role as the representative for your colleague?
I'm very organized as well. And I genuinely love to be around people. And I think I would be one of the best representatives for you in terms of relaying your questions to the department as well as to Miss Morgan. And feel free to ask me anything.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
Can I say why I seconded it?
Yes, Renee, please do.
Yeah, so the reason that I seconded it is because I think it would be best. I always think it's best that you give someone who wants to do it than to choose someone who doesn't really want to do it. And then, you don't really get the best results from that. So I like that she volunteered.
Wow, that's a good reason. All right, thank you, thank you, thanks. I can think of the person who previously held this role just last year. I'm sure she wouldn't mind me calling her name. You see how I remember her name right off the bat? That was Anna. Anna was a beautiful soul, is a beautiful soul. Um, I like that Teek says she's very organized, and that Anna was. I mean, Anna would remind the class. I think she has something that she goes through, and she's like on Sunday evening, guys, remember to read this. Guys, remember to do this. Guys, remember to do that. And I think it was appreciated because we learned in this course that roles are a give and take mission or assignment. So Anna preferred herself as this organized person who wants to remind persons of the responsibilities that they have for the week. Now, the question is this, does the group want this? Will the group embrace this? Now, Anna would know if the group didn't want it, if persons would respond and like, boy, Anna, I can't take your whole heap of mail, them in there. I can't even read them. Boy, Anna, you know, and then she'd kind of take a cue of how persons respond perhaps to that initial person. And then she'd probably pull back and say, okay, maybe I'm a little too much. Maybe I want to do it this way. You know what I mean? So clearly the group accepted that of her, that persona that she presented, and it was welcome. Thank you, Anna. Oh, we're grateful. Gosh, I didn't even remember to do this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So as I say, roles are negotiated, you know. So Tika, I'm just giving you, you know, some tips here. And while Anna is negotiating her role with the group, she's also negotiating her role with me as well and the office. So she doesn't know how I'm going to receive her either. So her initial thing, she's so tentative. Remember you said you were going to do this? And me, I like that. I personally like that. So I'm like, Anna, I'm so sorry I didn't get back in touch with you, Anna. And so she feels encouraged to bombard me, to call me 3 times. Hey, I asked you yesterday. I mean, but of course, this is very, very friendly. You know, it's a very friendly exchange between us. So she said, I know I'm bombarding you, but, and I'm like, yeah, I know you're bombarding me, but, you know, and we laugh it off and we get our stuff going, you know. So I don't know, that was her relationship just with me, right? I don't know how she would have been with Mrs. Ware, who you guys will also have, or I don't know who the other lectures will be, but she carefully has to manage each of these relationships because she has a goal. You know, she knows what she wants from each of us. And then she has to manage her relationship with the office. You know, when is the best time to say? What does she say on behalf of the group? How does she say it? You know, so I'm sure Anna wasn't thinking about all of that or my observation of her. But as Teek volunteered, it literally came to me. And when I said, you know, Anna did this role so beautifully, that's what came to me in terms of how I described her. She was selfless, very, very selfless. And, you know, her group felt her impact in a very profound way, you know, her individual group. So Teek, you know, I like that you volunteer. And as Renee says, we sense the passion in you. You will be very different. I'm just describing Anna, not setting you up for anything at all. You are your own unique person. And I am sure the group stands to embrace you as you help, you know, to kind of wade the water, because guys, this is hard. You know, coming to online school, and you guys are juggling home. You have, some of you have your families at home that you're looking after. It's COVID time. A lot of people are sick around us. So it's hard. I am telling you, this is not easy. This is not easy. And so we just have to be there for each other. All right. So thanks, Teek. Thank you. And thanks, Renee, for seconding the call. All right. Anything, guys? Anything from? Anything? All right. So I'm gonna do now. It's 8:20, and I am about to now tell you how the groups are gonna be selected, right? So thank you.
Dora.
All right, so let me mute Sakina. All right, so tell me now. Thank you for starting this volunteering thing, T, because now I'm gonna ask for volunteers. How many persons are here? 38, right? So there are 38 persons here. And if I want 6 to 8 person groups, 6 into 38 is how much?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Okay, so it's 38 plus you and Olivine, and there's somebody else there twice.
Okay, so it's less than that. So 6, that's 36, 6 into 36, 6. So I'm thinking if we have 6 groups of 6, then one group may have 5. But we're going for 6 groups, right? We're going for 6 groups. So the average per group would be 6. The average per group is 6. All right. So I'd like 6 volunteers, 6 people to volunteer.
Amen.
Go ahead. Let me get the names.
Shaniel Mackenzie.
Shaniel Mackenzie.
Orlando Walters.
Go again. Orlando
Walters.
Walters.
Yes.
Okay. Go again.
Revaldo Love.
Who? Revaldo?
Yes, miss.
Love. Okay.
Brandon Main.
Brandon
Main.
Main.
Yes, miss.
And who else?
Renee Downey.
Renee Downey. And somebody else I've been trying to say.
Lydia McKinley.
Lydia, was it you who was trying to say?
Me. Teak.
Oh, Teak. All right, but Teak, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Teak, it look like you're out of that one here now.
That's okay.
No, you're a good sport, man. I know you're a good sport. See? Can we get the 6? And then you have one big role, you know. You have a big role over there. So all right. So thank you for being a good sport, because we get the 6. All right. So we have Shaniel, we have Orlando, we have Rivaldo, we have Brandon, we have Renee, and we have Lydia. Okay. So here is my task to these 6 persons, right? I want you to think about the group that you'd like to have, right? I'd like you to think about how you'd like your group to be, each of you, right? And I would like for you to, in the next class, share that vision of your group, right? Of the group that you'd like to be in, or how you see your group, to the class. And then in the next class, I'm going to be asking persons to volunteer to join a group. So I want it to be a two-way street. I want it to be a two-way street. So I want to give these 6 persons an opportunity to pick persons for their group, right? So you come up based on your vision of the kind of group that you'd like to have. We don't necessarily need to know it in the beginning. I want each of you to come up with 5 criteria, because if it's an average 6 person in a group, so you're already 1. So I want you to come up with 5, do an extra 1, 6 just in case, criteria for selecting persons to your group. So each of you will get an opportunity to throw out each of these criteria, right? And the person who responds is also indicating their interest in joining your group. So the criteria can be anything. You may ask for people who love a particular TV show, from something like that, to you may ask about the kinds of behaviors that from a person that you'd like to see in your group. Right? The idea is I want you to make it fun, make your criteria fun and interesting to get a really good mix of people in your team. Now, the whole thing behind this is that even though, I don't know if I should tell you at this stage, but even though you are selecting the groups, you don't necessarily need to be the group leader. In the face-to-face setting, how I typically do this is ask people to number themselves 1 to 6, and I randomly say choose all my number 3s. And I would have 6 persons who called number 3. And I would ask these 6 persons to come up with the criteria. So these names are pretty random, right? I'm not declaring leadership on any of you, but if in the process you emerge as a leader of your group, great. Because one of the things I want the groups to do is to select your leader, to assign roles to persons, because we're learning how to do a group well. So you're the picker, you're the selector. You could be the leader, but you don't have to be. All right. So my 6 persons, I need your contacts. Teak, I'm glad I didn't include you here, Teak, because here's where I'm going to need your help now, Teak. I'm going to need your help to get these contacts, the numbers of these persons for me.
No problem.
Or email, or maybe I should give you guys my email. My email is sophiasmorgan@yahoo.com. sophiasmorgan@yahoo.com. I don't necessarily need to see your criteria before, but perhaps you want to run something by me. Can I use this or can I use that? That's fine. I will check in with you, but just have fun doing it. So we're going to start next week. We're going to select the groups, right? And then we're going to meet in our small groups and get to meet and greet and get to know each other. That's what we'll start.
Morgan?
Yes?
Hi, Geraldine here. Just have a quick question.
Sure.
In the event that we have after the presentation of these desired characteristics from the group,
yes.
we find that everybody or most persons want to run to particular groups. Do we have a strategy how we will manage that and how we will, what do you call that now, even the distribution?
Yes and no. When I say yes and no, it's kind of organic, So my own strategy is to do my own group dynamics management, But this is why I'm encouraging the groups to, and these names are random. You know, you guys are probably scouting out each other already and say, I want to be a part of Shaniel's group, or Shaniel may have in mind persons who she wants to be a part of her group. And typically I say, go right ahead. Shaniel, if there's a member in the class that you want to be a part of your group, and you, perhaps one of your thing would say, I want XYZ, you know, in fact, I would give every person that option to choose somebody specifically who they want. But if you don't have to use that option, but just use it once, by the way, just use it once, but you don't have to use it. So we're going to discuss this. We're going to discuss the activity from the perspective of what forming a group entails, you know, what characteristics people look for, what are the barriers to entry in a group, how do people matriculate? So you had to matriculate really to be a part of this HRD program. You know, when people are trying to join groups, some people go directly for who they know. Isn't that true? You want to work in an organization and you know the manager, and the manager give you work, don't? Isn't that true? So pretty much we're mirroring this in our kind of real life way, right? If Shaniel says, you know what, I want Geraldine. I know Geraldine, I've worked with her undergrad and she's great and I want her in my group, then fine with me, you know. But what implication will this have for the functioning of the group? These are things that we'll see and see how they manifest and over time, you know, because people, there are various ways that people come to become a part of a group, to join or form a group. You know, some of us have to work our butts very, very hard to get a position in an organization, or to get accepted into a prestigious organization. While for some of us, that's not the process. But at the end of the day, however we came to be a part of the group, we have to work together as a group. So this is why I say the whole process is kind of organic, you know, and a lot of these processes evoke different emotions, you know. Some people perhaps don't want to be a part of this because they don't feel like, I'm not that type of a person. I'm shy. I don't want to do this. And that's fine too. You will be placed in a group. I will place you in a group, you know, but here's an opportunity for you to reflect on this. Am I usually this kind of person who, you know, doesn't take charge, and, you know, in terms of where I am? It could be just situational. It could be you're generally a take charge person. You pretty much don't leave your faith up to anything. You want to go in this group and you figure out how to get in there. But this instance could be situational. You could be like, I'm typically that person, you know, but I don't care about this time. So misplace me anywhere you want to place me. I don't care, you know. But then, as I say, throughout, as you are kind of observing how you and the group play out, you're asking yourselves, should I have, you know, been a little bit more assertive? Am I okay with this? What does this mean for the people I've ended up with and for the group I've ended up with? So everything has meaning, guys. Every single thing has meaning. And this whole process is about finding meaning in every single behavior that we do. Yeah. So please, Shaniel, Orlando, Rivaldo, Brandon, Renee, Lydia, have fun with this. Have fun with this. Have fun with your, as a matter of fact, do 6 just in case. I said 5 criteria, do 6, an extra one just in case. All right. And guys, just come prepared. come prepared to have fun. I will say though, at the beginning, I, and again, as I said, this is organic. I typically ask each person to tell a little bit about themselves. I may do it at the end, I may do it at the beginning. So it depends on the dynamic. Yeah. So we're gonna meet next week. Select the groups, and then I'm gonna place you in your groups. And then from here on, when we do group activities, you'll be working with this group. All right. So I have here, yeah, down for next session, group meeting. So we are good. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. So I would be done with this now. Yeah. Is there anything I need to say to you? Yeah. Yes. Yes, I do need to say something to you. So, all right, you know what? Next week I'll say it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going through a little bit of personal challenge right now. And I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed. I said tonight, depending on how things go, I'll tell you about my coming next week to next week class. But I'll try my best to come at least for some time, and then I may have to leave early. But just this time. Yeah. All right. That's me, guys. Anything? Anybody have any questions?
Did you mention
No
the thing
question.
about,
Good night.
did you mention the thing about,
go ahead.
Did you mention the thing about not using copyrighted material?
Oh, no. Thank you. Mention it.
Yes, please.
Oh, yes. Well, even from my perspective, I have to be very careful about how I share videos with you. So because of copyright infringements. But typically for you guys, UE actually has a copyright policy. I don't know how aware you are of that, or if you were given the policy or have access to it. You should have, right? So we're asking you to be very, very careful about these infringements that sometimes you unintentionally or unknowingly. So this is why you have to study this document. There's a document, right, OMT? I'm sure there is.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Because the thing is that we tape these lectures, as you can see, and for you to get them, we put them on HRD TV and we give you the link. So only you would be able to see the videos that you have for your courses. Nobody else can see them, except of course the people at YouTube. And the people at YouTube have cited us for copyright infringement already because somebody used a video clip in one of the videos, in one of the classes, and then we put up the video which included that little video clip.
Yeah.
And MGM cited us. So they were threatening to take down Caribbean HRD TV. So we're asking you, do not use, if you're going to use copyrighted materials, you're going to show a film clip or something, allow us to stop the recording, because we can't put up the recording if it contains something that would be illegal.
Yeah.
And it would mean that you wouldn't have access to the recording of that lecture. That's all we're asking.
Yeah. So you might use a video in your presentation. That's how
it's just that we don't want to copy. We don't want to videotape you showing the video. If it
Right.
work.
Right. Yeah. And hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, I was just bringing your attention to. I was just bringing your attention to what was being said in the group.
Mm-hmm.
Shireen says, Miss Morgan, I'm recommending that the presentation be done on camera, please, so we can see the face.
Oh, okay. You're muffled, but I think I hear the gist of what you're saying. You'd like us to do the presentations on camera so we can see each other?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yes, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'm cognizant though that not everybody's computer may be in tip-top shape and form. Like the computer I'm using now doesn't have a camera. So this is why you're not seeing me, but I've put a picture up. But when I can, when I do get a decent laptop, that the camera is working, then I will come on so you can see me. So I'm aware of that. So when we're doing our presentations though, or when you guys are meeting in your face-to-face small groups, I would encourage you, if you have a computer that has a working camera, you can turn your cameras on. But as I say, I truly appreciate the challenge. Some of us are working from home and it's noisy. The background is not, well, we can have a background that's not the home background anyway, so that's not an excuse. But there are challenges to operating in the home space, which I appreciate. But we'll do our best, right, guys? We will do our best. Hello.
Definitely, miss, definitely.
At a minimum, then put up a picture at a minimum.
Yes, I like that. At a minimum, put a picture up. At a minimum. Right now I'm seeing AE, BM, DD, DS. Yeah. Yeah. So let's put some pictures up.
Hi, Miss.
Hi.
Said Sophia Morgan, Sophia S.
S.
Morgan.
Morgan at yahoo.com.
Thank you.
That's correct. Sophia S. Morgan at yahoo.com.
Oh, that doesn't have an H in it. That spelling for the doesn't have an H.
Oh, which SOPHIASMORGAN, one word. SOPHIAS as in Santania. That's my actual middle name, Santania. Morgan at yahoo.com. All right. So I did say that I prefer to kind of go right ahead and then we break at the end. And I also said that if I'm going and I feel like the energy is kind of low, then I would stop mid-stream, say around 7:15, 7:30 or thereabout. I was in my element tonight and I was talking. So now I'm at 8:43. And I think now is a good time. I did have a video, a 3-minute video. So we'd have to pause the recording. This is a video on conformity. Hold on, let me. OMT, you have the recording going?